Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain,
I'm Lynn.
and today we're going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Dragon Castle. Now, Dragon Castle is a game that was designed by Lorenzo Silva, Hjalmar Hach, and Luca Ricci, and has art by Sinyi Chu. I hope I have pronounced that all correctly. Feel free to correct me down below. Now, this game was published by Simon and Horrible Games. There is the Simon logo there and the Horrible Games logo there. And this game is for 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes, and ages 8 plus. Now, I'm going to start there. First off, this really is a 2 to 4 player game. This game plays well at 2 players, it plays well at 3 players, it plays well at 4 players, I think. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? We've played it at all the player counts.
Yeah, I think it plays well at all of them.
Yeah,
equally.
actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I just equally well
Yeah.
at all the player counts.
I actually, and this is rare that I actually like a game really a lot as a heads up game when it's really meant to be played with more players. But this is a game that when we play it 2 players, I really like it. Like I actually, I might even like it more at 2 players than say 4 players. I like it at 4 players too, but I like the quickness of the back and forth at 2 players. I really enjoy that. Now the 8 plus, that's probably a pretty good estimate. I know it sounds low, but the basic game,
It's just matching.
yeah, and if you don't add in because they have rules for cards that give you an extra rule every game and another card that gives you an extra way to score every game, but it says for beginner players you don't have to use those. If you don't use them, the basic game is very easy, very easy to learn. So I do agree with that 8 plus. I think it's a pretty good estimate, and the 45 minutes is actually a pretty good estimate too. Might go a little longer at 4 players, but I would say it's shorter at 2 players. 45 minutes is probably a good estimate for 3 players, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. So now I'm going to open this up and we're going to have a little bit of a look at what comes in the box when you buy yourself a copy of Dragon Castle. So now the first thing you get here, these are some little individual player boards. They have 4 different colors, red, green, blue, and yellow. They represent the different seasons, and as Lynn discovered, they make a picture. You can put them all together, and it's a single picture. Each card continues on to the next card. So now you're actually trying to figure that out. Yeah, that is the place where the blue and the green meet. Yes.
These 2, and then
Which you figured that out while we were doing the unboxing for this a while ago. And then that one goes.
It's upside
Is
down.
it upside down? Oh. And that one goes in there. It all makes one big picture. Then we've got some common boards. Now you have a board here, which this one has the symbol on it for 2 players, and it shows you how to set up the tiles for 2 players. Then this one has 3 players and 4 players. Now these are the basic boards for the basic setups for 2, 3, and 4 players, but then there is a blank board. And that is because there are lots of alternate setups in the rules for different patterns of tiles for all the different numbers of players, plus it encourages you to design some of your own. And that's what this one is for. Now, I like that they did that, but I do have, this is my first complaint about this game, is the thickness of these boards. It's like cardstock.
Yeah, it's slightly
It's
thick.
it's just cardstock. It's a thick cardstock, but it's cardstock. And I would have rather these been like the standard board game board, cardboard, thicker, sturdier feel. These worry me that they're going to damage. I know they probably did this to keep the cost down because the tiles were probably quite expensive, but I wouldn't have minded paying a little more for thicker boards. So that it's a little complaint on the quality of these boards. That being said, most of the rest of the components I'm about to show you are amazing, so let's get on to some of those. So the next thing we have here is the rule book. Now the rule book is full color with tons of diagrams, absolutely tons of diagrams. This is a very well done rule book. This is how rule books should be made, especially for medium weight games like this. This feels like a kind of a medium weight time period in game, maybe a little on the lighter side of the medium weight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say medium weight.
Well, these are all the diagrams to the alternate possible setups they've come up with, which is awesome. There's unbelievable amounts of replayability there. Now, after that, we have a nice thick cardboard first player token. We have lots of these cardboard punch-out dragon tokens, which have 2 points marked on each of them. We have cardboard punch-out point tokens, which, I mean, they're pretty standard for cardboard punch-out tokens. If you've seen one cardboard punch-out token, you've kind of seen them all. But here's where we get into some of the really cool bits. So we have these plastic pagoda roofs, which are known as shrines in the game, and these are really nice and really well done. But even better than those, we have these thick, some sort of hard plastic tiles which look like mahjong tiles. And these, I mean, listen to that. These are fantastic. They look great. The symbology is fantastic on them. It's immediately recognizable for what it is. And the quality of these these are definitely why they had to cut corners and cost in other places, because these are amazing. Like, I really like these. So then we have the final bit of components are some cards. Now you have some cheat sheet cards, which are very nice. And we also have 2 small decks, one of dragon cards, which on the other side show you an extra way to score, because you randomly deal 1 dragon card out each game, and that is a way to keep the games fresh and new. And the other cards are the spirit cards. Again, the spirit cards, you randomly deal 1 out, and instead of having a new way to score, these have a new special ability that you can trigger during the game. And that's everything that comes in the box. So now we're going to head to the table, and we're going to show you how to play this game, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how this game feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we can see a game of Dragon Castle set up for 2 players. We each choose our color personal board. I'm being red on this side, and Lynn is being blue on that side, and put it in front of us, and we each take 1 of the shrine tokens and put it on our shrine pool, which is this ribbon of color down the side of the board. We each also take 1 of these lovely cheat sheets, which are really great because they show symbols, language free, of all the possible actions you can take, which are actually fairly self-explanatory, as well as your ways of scoring points and making sets, where normally you need to have at least 4 of the same suit of tiles on your board to make a set, and depending on how many of them are adjacent to each other on the board, how many points you will get for those. You place the main board in the middle of the table, and you shuffle up all of the mahjong type tiles face down, and the board has numbers on each of the spaces on it. This is the basic setup for a 2-player game, and the basic setup board, it shows you this space needs 1 tile on it. There are some spaces that need 3 and some spaces that need 2. You draw that many tiles and you put it on the space until you have covered up all of the spaces. You put the point tiles next to the board, you put the rest of the shrines next to the board, you put out a stack of the dragon tiles here and cover up spaces on the track until you get to the spot that shows the number of players you are playing, in this case 2. And you shuffle up the spirit deck and the dragon deck and deal 1 random card of each out. The spirit deck gives you an extra special ability that you can activate by discarding a face-up tile from your board or 1 of your shrines that you have obtained, while the dragon card gives you an extra way to score at the end of the game and can be very key, and you should definitely not ignore it. Now, what the 2 that we drew do is that this one allows you to make a set with only 3 tiles. Again, you have to discard either a shrine or a face-up tile to do that, and it's worth 2 points like the normal 4-tile sets are. This one allows you to score extra points at the end of the game. You don't have to do anything to do it, you just have to follow its instructions, which is you may score points for the highest number you have of each of the 3 basic suits, which are the swords, the bamboo, and the coins, which really are named the soldiers, farmers, and merchants. The highest number you have on the third level or higher of each of those suits will score you that many points, and can be quite a few points. So now we are set up. We have randomly decided that Lynn will be going first, and we're going to show you how this goes. Now on your turn, you have 4 possible actions that you can do, and Lynn is about to choose one. The fourth one, though, as you see it has a different background color, can only be done once we're close to the end of the game. I'll explain it later, but it can only be done when only tiles are remaining in the ground floor. The first 3 are to take 2 tiles. The first of the 2 tiles must be on the top floor and must be available, which means at least one of its long sides must be open, like this tile here or this tile here, but not that one there because it only has a short side that is open. And then your second tile can be from anywhere, but again has to be available. The second action choice is to take any available tile from the top row plus take a shrine. And the third action is to discard a tile from the top row. You take it and put it face down next to your board and take 1 point. Okay, so Lynn, it's your first turn. What action are you going to take for your first turn?
I'm going to take this storm tile.
It's, oh, very good. So Lynn chose to take a tile from the top row and a second tile. The second tile could be from anywhere. It just had to be open, which it was. It had one of its long sides open. And they had to be the exact same symbol for those 2 tiles. So she picked those 2 that have the pair of storm clouds on them. And then she could place them anywhere on her board that's either an open space or has face down tiles. You can't place them, of course, on shrines where they wouldn't be able to sit. And you can't place them on face up tiles. Once you have at least 4 in a group that are orthogonally adjacent to each other, that means horizontally or vertically adjacent, then you will automatically flip them down and get points based on how many tiles are in that group. So that is it for Lynn's turn. So now it is my turn to try to figure out what I am going to do. So I'm going to have a look around here. I do see a few options. So I'm going to take this one of the merchant suit and this other one of the merchant suit, and I am going to place them, now I'm going to place them over here on my board. Now, when making a set, it's not the exact same symbol, but the same suit. So just for getting the pair, I need to have the exact same symbol. They have to both be the one of merchants, but when being adjacent to each other on your board, they have to be the same suit. So now it is Lynn's turn again.
I'm going to take this blue flower, and then I'm also going to take this blue flower.
Okay, so I'm going to have a look here, and now I'm working on some of the merchant suit, but I'm having a little trouble actually getting some others going because the only merchant suit tile on the top row is this 4, and there's no other 4s that are anywhere around. So I'm going to switch suits here, and I'm going to go to the season suit. I'm going to take this tile here, and now that I've opened it, I'll take the second one from the top row there, and I'm going to place it, let's see, here on my board.
I'm going to take these clouds and also these clouds.
Well done. Okay, well, I've decided I'm going to take this tile here and a shrine for my action. I'm going to put a shrine there, and I'm going to put this tile right there. And I add the shrine to my pool, my shrine pool there.
I'm going to do something similar. Wait.
Waiting.
Yes. I'm going to take this one and a shrine.
Okay. So now I'm going to... take this one and a shrine again. I'm going to take one and a shrine, and I'm going to put this one here.
I'm going to take this rain cloud and also this rain cloud.
And also that rain cloud.
And then I am going to do that. So they all flip over now.
Yes. Now, Lynn, as you see here, has a bunch of wind suit, which is one of the special suits, and she has placed them all adjacent to each other with at least 4 of them orthogonally adjacent. So now what happens is, because of that, is she gets to make a set of the special suit. She made a set of how many now?
6.
6. So getting 6 means it will be worth 5 points. So she's going to flip them all face down. She will get a 5-point token for doing so. I'm going to give that to you there. And then, because they were special suits, she gets to place 2 shrines from her pool on top of some of them if she wants to, which she is immediately doing right now. She is placing 2 of them on. Now, those will be worth, if they are first level shrines, they'll be worth 1 point. Second level shrines are worth 2 points, and third level shrines are worth 3 points at the end of the game. So that's it for Lynn's turn. I'm going to take this one here, and it matches up exactly with this symbol here. I'm going to take these 2, and I'm going to put them here and here.
I am going to take the feathers and these feathers.
God damn it, I wanted those.
And I'm going to do that.
Let's see here. There's a lot of red available. I'm going to take this sword and this sword here, and I'm going to place them here and here.
I'm going to nope. I'm going to take
Those 2.
2 lightnings
Okay.
and
now she can place on the second level. They will count as anything adjacent on the first level. They just have to be next to each other. But she's now building up her castle there, which is a very important technique. Now I'm going to take this single sword and this single sword here, and I'm going to place them here and here in my area.
I am going to take this dragon and this dragon.
Okay, now I'm going to take this sword here, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5 of swords, and this 5 of swords here as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to place them here and here. Now this is a technique to get a lot of tiles adjacent to each other, because as you can see, there's currently only 3 and 3 adjacent to each other, 2 groups of 3, which will not automatically make a set. But as soon as I put these 2 in, they now join both groups together with now a single group that is way more than 4, because now they have 8 in a single group. And that will make a big set of a standard suit, a big set of 8, and I will flip them all face down. And in doing so, that will earn me a whopping 8 points. Here we go, which I'm going to show you right now. 8 points for getting 8 of the tiles adjacent to each other. So I'm going to take a 5 and a 3 from the point pool over here. And in addition, for making a set of a basic suit, I can make 1 shrine. So I'm going to take one of my shrines and I'm going to make a level 1 shrine there, which is going to be worth an extra point at the end of the game.
I'm going to take this and a shrine. And I'm going to put it there.
I'm going to take this and a shrine, and I'm going to place this on my second level there.
I'm going to take this one and a shrine.
I'm going to take this one and a shrine, placing it there.
I'm going to take this rain cloud and this other rain cloud. I'm going to put one there and one there.
Yes, that makes a set of 5. which is very nice. And some of them are on the second level, and they were special tiles again. So the set of 5 is worth 3 points for Lynn. So I'll pass you your 3 points while you're doing that. And she can place up to 2, if she wants them, shrines, which each one is worth 2 points there. So now this is how the game goes. We go back and forth. We build up our own castles. We collect sets for points. The larger the sets you can get, the more points you can get. We try to build up castles to get higher and higher level shrines, which are also worth extra points. And we try to work towards our dragon goal, which we need to have some level 3 or higher stacks with a face-up tile of the base 3 basic suits. The higher the number, the better for this particular example game. And once we run out of all tiles but the lowest level, an extra action is added. The extra action is that you may take this tile for 2 points. Once someone takes the second one of these in a 2-player game, but it's the more players you have, the more of these will be out here, and the exclamation is revealed, everyone gets keeps taking turns until the last player, which in this case, since Lynn was the first player, I am the last player, completes their very next turn, and then the game ends. So if I were to be the one that revealed the second one, then Lynn would get a turn and I would get a turn, and then the game would be over. If Lynn were to reveal the second one, then she would finish her turn, and then I would get a turn, and then the game would be over. Then you count up your points, and whoever has the highest point total wins. In the case of a tie, whoever has the most 3 stacks with a face down tile on top wins, and if there is still a tie, the person with the most shrines on top of stacks wins. And that is how you play a game of Dragon Castle. So now we're going to head back, we're going to talk about how this game feels, and we're going to rate it and review it.
Okay, welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Dragon Castle. Now, before we get into rating and reviewing this and talking about how it feels, I did want to make a quick reference to the insert, which I didn't talk about in the intro. Now, you may have seen it a little bit. I'm just going to open this up again to show it to you, because this insert is fantastic. Now, this is something else I want to compliment them on. They designed a really nice insert that really has a place for everything and then has enough space for the boards and books to go above it. So this is a very, very good quality insert. Now that I got that out of the way, because I definitely wanted to mention it. So let's talk about how this game feels. I mean, what are some of your thoughts on the play style and the mechanics of this game?
Well, it's a matching game.
It is.
At the most basic.
Yes.
Because you're matching the pictures on the tiles. Mm-hmm. But then once you match the pictures on the tiles, then you have like your little, it's like a puzzle board, because, yes. I mean, sure, you can put them wherever basically, but you do want to have some sort of strategy to
yes.
get the biggest.
Well, and as they saw when we were setting them up, sometimes you'll do a strategy to set up diagonally so they're not connected, because as soon as you have at least 4 connected, they pop and you make a set. But you want to get a lot of them. Like I made, during the gameplay footage, I managed to make a set of 8 by doing 2 groups of 3 that were diagonal, so they weren't connected, and then adding 2 into the spaces to connect it all together, and 8 gets you 8 points, which is huge. So that feels like a pattern-forming mini-game within the matching game to me, which is really fun. And I really like trying to coordinate to build taller and taller towers to be able to get the more points for second and third level shrines, as well as sometimes for some of the special scoring mechanics for the dragon cards. Now, I absolutely love the dragon cards and the spirit cards. I love how those make no 2 games are ever alike, because there are 2 unique cards that are going to come up. I mean, it's going to take a while before you see the exact same 2 cards that came up before, and by the time they do, you'll have forgotten what happened in that game. I mean, we've played this a bunch, and I don't know if we've ever had the same pair of cards come up. I mean, what is your thought on that, on its ability to keep being fresh and new with that?
I think that's fine. I sometimes don't pay too much attention to those.
But that's to your detriment if you don't.
Yeah, it depends on what cards come up.
Because some of them.
There's some that are, I don't know, there was one that was like really convoluted and I just couldn't wrap my head around it, so I just ignored it.
Yeah, but a lot of times if you don't, I mean, again, I didn't think it was as convoluted. I think it was just one that you were having trouble with.
Yeah, I just didn't understand it.
But the thing is, those I think you really can't ignore, because a lot of them are so key. They can mean the difference between winning and losing. I mean, you can do your own strategy however you like. If you do a strategy where you're getting lots and lots of third level shrines, you might be able to win without that card. But I personally feel like each time I've won this game, it's been because I played towards the particular card, and it was a good card that helped me really win. Also, I mean, we haven't done too much in regard to doing the custom setups or creating our own, but I love that if this game starts to get stale, they have that as an option. And that's really cool, I think. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, because the different setups, it's going to alter where you have to take the tiles from, because you always have to take from the top.
Right, and some of them, there were some where there's like towers off on their own, so everyone on the tower is going to be, available, because they all have the long sides open, which is kind of interesting. I like that they did that. I like they came up with a lot of different setups, and I like that they encourage the community to come up with their own. This is not an overly complex game. I think it's a lighter end of middleweight for me. Where are you at with this for the weight of the game? What do you think?
I think it's light.
You're what, on the heavier end of light?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not that far off from each other. I think lighter middle. You think heavier light. But it's a very easy game to learn. You can teach it. It's very easy to teach. And it's a lot of just fun. I mean, you've got the matching, which is obviously inspired by the old computer game Taipei, which used the mahjong tiles, and you would have to match them to make points. But then they add in that whole extra thing with the pattern forming and the castle building, which I love anything that lets you build castles. You build the castle in your area, and the higher levels that you're able to get the shrines on are worth more points, and there's like lots of different ways to score points in this. You can make large sets, you can make lots of shrines, you can work towards the dragon cards. I think this game is great. I'm really enjoying this at any player count. This is one that I think is going to be in our collection for a very long time to come. So, do you want to rate this first, or should I?
Doesn't matter. I'll go first.
Okay, did you have anything else to add about the way the game plays or its mechanics?
No.
So, where are you at with this?
I am at 8.
At 8?
Yes.
I am in thorough agreement with you. I am also at 8. So, you really do like this game, too. I mean...
Yeah. I would prefer to play actual mahjong, but that's...
So, let me ask you a question now. Since they used the mahjong-inspired tiles, did that enhance your enjoyment of it since you love mahjong tiles?
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
I was just curious about that. And this was one that I thought you would really like. I bought this, but this was one where I was like, oh, this is a game Lynn's going to really enjoy with me. And I'm glad you thoroughly agree with me, because I like this game a lot, and I think this is going to be one that's going to come out in a lot of our future game nights, because it's so easy to teach new people. I wouldn't call it like a filler game, but it's kind of like, maybe it's like a transitionary game where it's like it's between the fillers and the chunkier, longer middleweights. It's like somewhere in the middle, where it's not going to run you more than an hour. So it's not really like some of the middleweights can go as much as 2 hours. This is kind of in that transitionary period, but I think this is a really great game. This is a game that's going to see a lot of table time. So there you have it. 8 stars from Lynn, 8 stars from me, 16 total stars from the two of us here at the Board Game Captain. We thoroughly enjoyed Dragon Castle, and I think we can recommend it to anyone who, one, was a fan of the old Windows game Taipei. 2, anyone who likes matching or pattern forming. And 3, just people who like these kind of light to middleweight games and like to play a lot of them in a row because they don't take a huge amount of time. If any of those things apply to you, I would definitely check out Dragon Castle. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, either on the game of Dragon Castle or on this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelt with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.